My name is Jeff Sailing. I'm one of the co-founders at Startup NV. Thanks everybody for coming to our first pitch day of 2022. We did renew the Zoom link, so I know a few of you guys are late getting into the meeting, but there will be a new Zoom link for the year 2022. So Logan will be sending that out to anybody who missed it. So at Startup NV, we're Nevada's statewide nonprofit business incubator and startup accelerator. We help scalable companies with funding, mentorship, subject matter expertise, etc. And if we invite you into our accelerator program, we also supply at least $50,000 of investment in capital to you. People come and pitch to us for many reasons. Sometimes it's for the money, sometimes it's for the connections. Most of the time it's for the money. The $50,000 that we invest is the minimum that you'll get if you join our program, and we oftentimes can take that $50,000 and raise additional money from our LPs and friends to turn that 50 into something more than that. The most we've ever turned it into is just under $900,000, and occasionally it's just 50 that we put in, and that's the way it works. So the company, the investment firm that puts the $50,000 up is a sister company of ours called Fund NV, while all of our incubation and startup acceleration services are from our nonprofit. The investment funds that we run, Angel NV and Fund NV, are very much for-profit entities. So if anybody is interested in more information about either of those entities, you can check those out online at fundnv.com or angelnv.com. Today, like we do every other Wednesday, we have two 10-minute pitches. Paul from Renovate is going to get up here in a few minutes when I'm done talking and spend 10 minutes telling us about Renovate, after which we'll have about 15 minutes or so to ask him questions. And the way that the questions work is if you're online, you have a question for Paul or for Dr. Ken Baker, who will come after Paul, put those questions in the chat. Maggie's going to consolidate all the questions, and she'll be the one being our voice, our collective voice, to ask the questions. And it's Paul and Gabe. Gabe, if you want to jump up here on camera during the Q&A period, up to you. Or you can stay right where you are. Everybody will be able to hear you on the microphone. Sure. Up to you. So as you could tell by the super annoying announcements that came on and all of our struggles with YouTube, this is being recorded and live streamed. So what will happen at the end of this is that each of our founders will get two recordings. One will be just your pitch from the time you introduce yourself until you get to that question slide. And that'll be it. That portion of just your pitch will go up on our YouTube channel, unless you tell us not to put it up. And the other recording you'll get is that pitch plus all the Q&A. That will be a private recording just for you and for our limited partners in our investment fund. And the only way it'll be shared publicly, other than today while we're live streaming, is if you share that link. We won't share it with anybody except for our investors. So what that means is, today online, we usually have anywhere from 10 to 30 or so people watching this live on Zoom, and then maybe another couple dozen people that'll be watching it on YouTube. But a lot of people watch it after the fact on YouTube. And your contact information is generally on your slide. So you may hear from people that have nothing to do with Startup NV, that are just interested in your work and what you're doing. Just telling you, do what you will with those folks. They're not necessarily affiliated or associated with us. And if you want to know whether or not they are, just ask. But you're in a public forum, so you may get questions from just the general public about what you're doing. Couple other announcements, and then we'll get started. So not only do we run our pitch days for $50,000 every other Wednesday, but we also have another program that we've got going at the same time. It's called Angel NV. We just finished our entrepreneur boot camp last night. And now entrepreneurs from all over Nevada and all over wherever they hear our voice are applying to a group of angels that we've put together that's going to make an investment of at least $200,000. The applications for this group of angels are, you have to start it by January 18th, and you have to finish it by February 1st, which is when the angels are going to start evaluating those applications. You can apply to that group. Maggie will drop a link in the chat so that anybody who's listening online can just click the link. You can also go to angelnv.com and go to the page for applying to the fund and apply there. And just get your application started by January 18th, and you'll be in line for a $200,000 investment, a minimum of a $200,000 investment. Last year, when we ran this cohort, we ended up investing $330,000 in 3 companies, and there was probably an additional $150,000 or so put into the companies independently. It was just the investors and everybody else who participated in that group ended up putting another $150,000 or so into the 3 companies that garnered $330,000 from our group. So if it's something that's of interest to you, again, go to angelnv.com or follow the Gust link that Maggie's putting in the chat, and you can apply there. With that, having said that, Paul, you're going to be up here in a second. So if you want to, have you shared your slides yet, or are you going to share them when you get up here? Awesome. All right. Well, with no further ado, I'm really anxious to hear what Paul's going to tell us about Renovate, and then after Paul's done, I'll be back up to introduce Kenneth Baker from Vertical Optics. So Paul and Renovate, take it away.
How you guys doing? Try to make this pretty smooth for you. Just want to do a quick tech check to make sure that everything's getting shared properly. All right. The way that I'm sharing for this, it won't be able to.
So Paul, you'll have 10 minutes, and once you start, Maggie will put the timer on, and when you hear it beeping, if you haven't finished in your 10 minutes, just wrap it up really quick. You don't want her to
Yeah, it's 12 slides. I should be able to keep it more pretty succinct, especially because I'll go with the bullet points. There's no questions until afterwards, right?
Right. You're gonna get 10 minutes straight.
Cool. Awesome. Well, with that, I guess I'll be talking mainly to this computer screen because most people are virtual, but
yes.
I'll try to make this as interactive and fun as possible, especially when we get into the Q&A section. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name's Paul. I'm CEO and co-founder at Revonate. With me, I have Gabe, our CTO and co-founder. Simply put, Revonate is the best way to make structural changes to your home. We essentially infuse trust into the remodel process through a transparent and collaborative architectural design and visualization platform. Today, we'll share how Revonate is poised to become the world's largest architectural design company that helps create a new digital world in the future. So for this slide, on who we are, I usually start with a joke. What happens when 2 MIT engineers and a SaaS revenue leader walk into a bar? Well, Revonate, apparently. Our founding leadership team has experience in go-to-market, CAD visualization, and construction. I myself have been a sales leader at 3 different venture-backed companies, essentially bringing them free revenue to tens of millions. Gabe was actually a first product manager at GrabCAD, which is one of the first companies to take CAD files and host them in the cloud. Super applicable to what we're doing at Revonate. And Jeff, he's a chemically trained engineer from MIT, but he's managed hundreds of millions of construction projects and actually is a former GC himself. Together, we believe that we're a dream team to really disrupt this industry. So you asked, help us understand what is the big problem that you're solving? Why should we care? Basically, it's that inaccurate project scoping leads to 64% of renovations going over time and over budget. Most homeowners, any of you that maybe have experienced renovations or know someone that have, don't have a lot of experience in construction, and in fact, typically rely on the general contractor to guide them through the process. But most GCs try to do it all themselves: sales, marketing, construction administration, active project management, you name it. And they're doing this to preserve the margin, but effectively this results in them getting set up for failure. Now, if you're doing an open concept kitchen that minimally requires a structural engineer, an architect, and a general contractor to do properly, and if these interactions are happening today, it's through ineffective channels like texting, emails, or in-person meetings. Our solution is a platform enabling collaboration between the homeowner, GC, architect, structural engineers, and other relevant stakeholders required to make structural changes to their homes. Now, what exactly is that solution? To put more plainly, we're a clear value add for the homeowner and the GC as an architectural design subcontractor, so to speak. We're slotted in a normal day-to-day business relationship, similar to how they would have a relationship with their cabinet guy or their flooring installer. This gives us the ability to narrow our focus from a product perspective, a go-to-market perspective, in a valuable, differentiated, and scalable way. We'll talk more about this when I talk about the competitive landscape. And again, to be clear and put it plainly, Revonate provides a design standard, relevant context for engineering stakeholders, and garners trust by vetting what's called the AEC industry, architects, engineers, and construction, by vetting those stakeholders, those partners, and executing a consultative yet transactional sales and customer service process. Product, what we're actually all about, what we're doing today. Today, we have a mobile and web experience to collaborate on architectural design and visualization. You can download this on your iPhone, on your Android device. And not only do homeowners, contractors, and engineers do all their communication through our app, but also process all of the payments. This makes it way easier to track exact cost for a renovation. Currently, this is being done through checks or invoices that are relatively sporadic. Now, as our product continues to develop, as our company and the market continues to change and mature, we will build architectural design in a world that looks at it from the lens of AR or VR capabilities. Combine our existing app and visualization tools with this new medium, we will be the de facto standard for visualizing and scoping architectural design. A VR showroom is our prime example of what we can do today. Okay, the unique opportunity. We're about 5 minutes in. I'll try to run through these and be mindful of the time constraint. First and foremost, want to make sure it's very clear. The remodel demand is skyrocketing. The supply is not. This means that we need to help make contractors more efficient. And the best way we can help them is by accurately scoping projects to set them up for success with the homeowner. Combine the 34% increase in work from home and the 1.5 trillion in annual home equity buildup with the new tech readily available, and you get a recipe for Revonate success. Key examples: the iPhone Pro enables a homeowner to take a video of their home and get a dimensionally accurate, up to 1/4 of an inch digital twin of their built environment. The industry is massive, it's fragmented, and it's ripe for disruption. Hopefully it's clear that there's an incredible amount of tailwinds at our back, setting us up for success right now. How we make money? Simply put, we make money by selling design packages to homeowners. So far, we've created profiles on Hows, Angie's, etc. on behalf of GC partners and are converting them at a roughly 5% rate. We also provide incentives for our partners to refer us business and charge them a referral fee if they accept a project we source directly. As I mentioned earlier, all of the transactions for permit set, for plans, etc., are processed through our managed marketplace up to a 10% markup. Like we noted, this not only increases efficiencies, but it also gives us valuable data and insight on the actual cost of renovations. The competitive landscape. At a high level, we like to look at it from a lens of vertically integrated in that they do design, construction administration, et cetera, all in. And recognizing that while that generally provides great value, it's typically very difficult to scale. And a key reason why so much of the industry is localized and fragmented. Now, if you want to do an open concept kitchen remodel, make a structural change to your home in that effect, which is by far our most popular project, you basically have two options. You could start with an architect and pay a hefty fee, or you could hope your GC is really good with the legal pad and measuring tape. You know, maybe you're using apps like House or Angie's, but at the end of the day, all they're doing is recycling contact information and giving it to GCs as a lead, which frustrates people on both sides. And how they've become multiple billion-dollar companies is anyone's guess. Sure, there's tech-enabled GC startups like a Made and a Block Renovation, but note that they're mainly constrained to a specific geography or project type while we support the custom structural changes. And then last, but certainly not least, there's Revonate, your architectural design sub, a very clear value-add strategic partner and sustainable way that we're confident we can increase homeowner demand on our platform. Last few slides here for you. I know we're coming up on time. The total addressable market for remodel and repair is projected at $450 billion. Now, if we assume just the $121 billion of the market that is actually for 50K or more, essentially structural changes to your home, that's $121 billion. To be conservative, let's assume we get 10% of that market to get us that TAM. Of the SAM, we're looking at just Las Vegas and Boise, which are the two markets that we started in. And that total market value is $1.3 billion. If we assume just 10% penetration, we're looking at a $130 million business. And to be even more conservative, but hopefully paint a good picture for you, 6.5 million, that's essentially us looking at the serviceable obtainable market and a roughly 10%, and 10% of that market with a roughly 50% margin. Again, we try to be conservative in these approximations, but hopefully it's clear that this is a massive market. And if we can get just 0.08% of it, we'll be $1 billion plus company. Progress to date. What have we been up to since we've actually launched this in, what have we actually done since we launched this in July of this year? Well, that last quarter, we did about 33K in revenue on a 50% margin with a total of 1.3 million total project value. We've raised 310K and still have about 150K cash on hand. Most importantly, we validated that customers are willing to pay for architectural design and GCs are willing to give us part of their markup for the value that we create. How you can help? Well, check us out on revonate.co, that's .co. And if you're interested in getting a renovation project or you know a GC or an architect, we'd love to work with them and help grow their business. In addition.
Oh, that's time.
Okay.